10 Signs of an Unintelligent Person. Have you ever met someone who just didn't seem to grasp the basics of conversation, learning, or even basic logic? Intelligence isn't just about academic degrees or having a big vocabulary. In fact, it's often reflected in how someone thinks, behaves, communicates, and handles life situations. Unintelligent people often display a set of common habits or traits that reveal a lack of critical thinking, emotional awareness, or common sense. These behaviors are not always obvious at first, but over time, they create patterns that can't be ignored. They may reject new ideas, refuse to learn from mistakes, or speak with absolute certainty even when they're wrong. This video isn't about labeling or shaming anyone. It's about understanding what separates people who are open-minded, curious, and growth-oriented from those who are stuck in a limited mindset. By recognizing these signs, you can better understand others and, more importantly, check yourself for any traits that may be holding you back from reaching your full potential. So let's dive deep into the 10 most common signs of an unintelligent person and what they really mean. 1. They think they know everything. Unintelligent people often have a rigid mindset where they believe their opinions are facts. They act like they've already figured out everything and don't need to learn more. This inflated ego blocks them from absorbing new knowledge or seeing other points of view. For example, they might argue confidently about science, politics, or personal development topics without ever having studied them. They dismiss expert advice, reject evidence that challenges their beliefs, and dominate conversations with their so-called knowledge. This creates an intellectual bubble where they feel safe, but it's built on ignorance. Truly intelligent people, on the other hand, stay humble because they know how much they don't know. They seek out learning opportunities and aren't afraid to say, "I don't know." But an unintelligent person sees admitting ignorance as weakness, when in truth, it's a sign of strength. 2. They don't learn from their mistakes. Making mistakes is part of life. What separates intelligent individuals from the rest is their ability to reflect, adjust, and grow after a failure. But an unintelligent person doesn't reflect at all. They repeat the same behaviors, fall into the same traps, and wonder why nothing in their life changes. Even worse, they often externalize blame. Instead of saying, "What can I do differently next time?" they say, "The world is against me," or "People are just unfair." This mindset locks them in place. Without growth, time just passes, but nothing improves. This is why some people stay emotionally or mentally stuck in the same place for years or even decades. Learning from mistakes requires humility, self-awareness, and effort, all things an unintelligent person tends to avoid. 3. They avoid deep conversations. Some people find comfort in small talk, but unintelligent individuals avoid deep conversations not because they're shy, but because they lack the tools to engage with depth. Ask them about meaningful topics like morality, purpose, personal growth, or emotional intelligence, and they'll either change the subject or mock the discussion. They prefer gossip, surface-level topics, or arguments where they feel in control. Deep conversation requires introspection, curiosity, and the willingness to think critically and vulnerably. But unintelligent people often fear being exposed or challenged, so they hide behind humor, sarcasm, or disinterest. They miss out on the chance to connect on a human level or to expand their mind. In contrast, intelligent people crave conversations that stimulate growth, even if it's uncomfortable. 4. They are extremely judgmental. Judgment comes easy to an unintelligent mind. It doesn't take effort to look at someone and say, "They're lazy," or "They don't belong here," based on nothing but appearance, race, religion, or one single action. Unintelligent people rarely see the full story behind others' choices or situations. They jump to conclusions and feel justified in doing so. They don't pause to ask, "What's this person's background?" or "What challenges might they be facing?" This lack of empathy and nuance makes their world small, cold, and often toxic. They feel superior by putting others down, not realizing that this mindset only reflects their own insecurities. Intelligence includes emotional awareness and the ability to recognize complexity. Those who judge less often understand more, and those who judge quickly usually understand the least. 5. They react emotionally. not logically. Reacting emotionally is human, but staying there without thinking things through is a strong indicator of low emotional intelligence. Unintelligent people often explode in anger, break down over small things, or let their mood control their entire day. Instead of taking a deep breath and thinking, "How should I respond?" they shout, insult, or shut down. This behavior not only damages their relationships but also shows they don't have the inner discipline to pause, analyze, or regulate themselves. Intelligent people aren't perfect, but they know how to manage their emotions without letting those emotions damage their decisions. Overreactions, drama, and impulsive responses are all signs of someone who hasn't developed the maturity to handle life's challenges in a thoughtful way. 6. They're closed-minded. Unintelligent people often see the world in rigid categories: right versus wrong, good versus bad, my way versus your way. They dislike new experiences, unfamiliar cultures, or challenging ideas. Their fear of the unknown leads them to reject anything that doesn't fit their existing worldview. They'll scoff at people who think differently, label new things as weird or wrong, and refuse to update their beliefs, even in the face of clear evidence. This closed-mindedness keeps their thinking stuck in the past. In contrast, intelligent people are adaptable. They listen, consider, and evolve. They don't just tolerate different views, they learn from them. Being closed-minded may feel safe, but it's also a prison that blocks growth, wisdom, and meaningful connection. 7. They blame everyone but themselves. Blame is a defense mechanism. When unintelligent people face failure or discomfort, their first instinct is to point fingers. It's the teacher's fault I failed, my partner ruined the relationship, or this job is holding me back. Rarely will they look inward and ask, what role did I play in this? This external blame game allows them to avoid responsibility, but at a huge cost. They never improve. Life becomes a loop of repeating the same problems without progress. Intelligent people understand that even if something isn't entirely their fault, there's always something to learn or take responsibility for. Owning your part doesn't make you weak, it gives you power. But unintelligent people would rather protect their ego than grow, and they stay stuck because of it. 8. They talk more than they listen. Unintelligent people love being the center of attention. They interrupt, dominate conversations, and rarely let others speak. Their goal is not to learn, it's to be admired or validated. They may even pretend to listen, only to redirect the conversation back to themselves. This communication style is not just rude, it reveals a lack of curiosity and emotional intelligence. Intelligent people, on the other hand, are active listeners. They ask thoughtful questions, show genuine interest, and allow others to express themselves fully. Listening is a powerful tool for learning and connection, but it requires patience and humility, qualities that unintelligent people often lack. 9. They can't handle constructive criticism. To an unintelligent person, even helpful feedback feels like a threat. They get defensive, angry, or hurt when someone points out a flaw, even gently. Instead of asking, "How can I grow from this?" they say, "You're just trying to bring me down." This inability to accept feedback keeps them stagnant. They miss countless opportunities to improve because they're too busy protecting their ego. Intelligent people see criticism as fuel. Even when it's tough to hear, they reflect on it, apply it, and grow stronger. The truth is, no one is perfect, but if you can't handle being told where you can do better, you'll never reach your full potential. 10. They don't value education or self-improvement. Unintelligent people think learning ends once they leave school. They avoid books, mock self-development, and see personal growth as unnecessary. They'd rather be entertained than enlightened. They resist trying new things because it feels hard or risky. This mindset keeps them mentally stuck, even if they age physically. Intelligent people are always learning. Whether it's through reading, experiences, mentorship, or self-reflection, they embrace growth as a lifelong process. Valuing self-improvement means accepting that you are a work in progress. Those who ignore this truth often live limited, repetitive lives without fulfillment or evolution. At the end of the day, intelligence isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being open to learning, improving, and seeing the world through a bigger lens. If you recognize any of these signs in yourself, take it as a call to grow, not a reason to feel ashamed. And if you spot them in others, know that not everyone is ready for change. Protect your own growth by staying aware, humble, and always hungry to learn. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more honest, thought-provoking content that challenges the way we think and live.